where you want it.
Bay 12, please.
Hello there, Transformers fans, and welcome back to another Bay 12 video review. And today we are reviewing the new Transformers Reactivate 2-pack featuring Bumblebee and Starscream this time. Now, the Bumblebee and Starscream 2-pack, in addition to the Optimus Prime and Soundwave 2-pack, are so far the only 4 figures that have been either announced or, to my knowledge, even rumored for Transformers Reactivate so far. But we officially have 4 figures, 2 product releases, but 4 figures total in Transformers Reactivate now. And 2 out of those 4 are really good repaint candidates, because Bumblebee can be easily repainted and slightly retooled into Cliff Jumper, or typically is a lot of the time. And then, I mean, do I even need to point out Starscream, Seeker, you know, and you can go from there. So, awesome repaint potential. There is at least 2 more figures for sure we can at least squeeze out of these 4 molds. Bare minimum, of course, because, once again, Seeker. And I genuinely hope we do have more coming for Transformers Reactivate, because these figures are awesome. And while I really love the Optimus and Soundwave 2-pack, I kind of like the Bumblebee and Starscream 2-pack even more. Anyway, here they are in the packaging, just like the Optimus and Soundwave 2-pack. There's Bumblebee and Starscream in that bubbled window there on the front. You've got a close-up art of Starscream's face there and Bumblebee's face. Product shots of their figures in both modes. Again, just like on the Optimus and Soundwave, wish it was alt mode artwork to match the robot mode artwork on the box. You get a further out shot of Starscream right there, and the same for Bumblebee. And on the back, once again, there's those product shots of the figures in both modes, as well as their accessories. And just like with Optimus and Soundwave, there's some screen grabs from the game, which also look pretty cool, especially the alt mode one. I love how rusted and dirty Starscream looks, especially in jet mode there. Just me personally. I mean, I like these little robot mode shots too. Those look cool as well, but I especially like that a lot. And I'm really excited to see the team up dynamic, or potential team up dynamic, that they seem to be insinuating with Reactivate, because I'm just being speculative on purpose at this point, just in case something gets completely changed. But as far as we seem to know right now, supposedly, like I said in the first video, it's going to be Autobots and Decepticons teaming up with humanity to fight off this new huge threat. Again, my money's on the Quintessons, because that would be extra really cool if they go that far in a game, right? Or maybe it's just me, but that's what I'm excited to see. Anyway, let's get these guys out of the packaging. And real quick, before we do the close-up look at them, here is Bumblebee and Starscream next to Optimus Prime and Soundwave from the 2 packs. So you can see all 4 of them side by side together in their robot modes. And Soundwave is definitely, in my opinion, the weakest figure of the 4, despite how much I like him. I ended up loving Starscream even more than I thought I would, and I was already really looking forward to Starscream. This Bumblebee right here, this is my #1 favorite Bumblebee now. And here is Bumblebee out of the packaging and side by side to each other. And both of these figures look absolutely fantastic in my opinion. If I had to make a comment though on the set overall, having looked at some of the images and the fact that they're supposed to be, you know, scraped and scrapped back together again by humanity out of just whatever they had lying around and whatever Cybertronian pieces they could find, I do wish the deco on the figures was a little bit dirtier. What I mean is, wish they added some like little rust spots here and there in some places, and I also wish that they just, you know, when they were rolling them through the factory or whatever, had them on like a belt with just a sprayer full of like Norn oil, you know, just a good black wash paint to just right over them, right over the back, just to give them that nice dirty look. I think that would have been really good for these figures, because as much as I love these designs, I do have to say at this point that I didn't cover in the first video, they look a little too clean. Now, that's fine, because, you know, some people don't like the battle damaged look, and some people like the clean Cybertronian look, even if it's supposed to be dirtied or, you know, scraped together. But that is something I do want to touch on. That is a major detail I feel is missing on all 4 figures, is weathering. Needs some weathering, needs some dirtiness, needs to get beat up just a little bit more, because they're supposed to be beat up. And they have mixed matched parts, and the paint job is uneven because of those mixed match parts, which is a feature about these I like, but I want to see the dirtiness to go with that. All right, now that we've covered that, and now that we've covered these two side by side, let's go ahead and start off with Starscream here. Like I said earlier in this video, I love this figure even more than I expected to. And I was already excited about this figure because I really like this take on Starscream. I like that, much like the other 2 figures that we've reviewed so far, you can see the G1 roots in this design of Starscream. You can tell that this is Starscream himself, but this isn't trying to be G1 Starscream, which is the other thing I like about it. I love the artistic liberties and paneling and just design changes they took and made to that classic G1 Starscream design that got us to this point right here. It looks so cool. And it's a nice refresh for the character too, because I love G1. I love it so much. It is the best universe in Transformers. It's the baseline from which everything in Transformers is based off of, right? It's the foundation of the entire franchise, and that's very important. I mean, this year we're celebrating 40 years of greatness, right? But the past few years, we can all admit, has been very G1 heavy since late 2019 when Siege started. I mean, it was getting that way in the 2010s anyway, but once we got into the 2020s, they really started digging into G1 everything. I mean, we're G1izing characters now, which, again, I'm not complaining. I do like those figures. I just like that we're starting to branch out a little bit again, because that's something that we've needed to do for a minute now. So that's the other reason I like these designs so much, is because it's a nice little refresh. It's a little palette cleanser, if you will. He's looking pretty good. He is fully articulated. Head is on a ball joint. Fully articulated shoulders, in and out on the shoulder joints. The shoulder pads also articulate, which is really cool. Upper bicep, single jointed elbows, in and out on the wrists. No wrist swivel. You can remove his new arm cannons. Whether or not they're going to be null rays or referred to as null rays, I don't know. They kind of look like little mini guns to me, just based off of the shape of the muzzle here on the end of this barrel. But then again, that could just be a unique muzzle shape for that barrel. I don't know. Waist, hips, just like the shoulders, you also have these hip plates that articulate, which is really cool. Upper thigh, single jointed knees. This tail fin also articulates in robot mode. Side to side ankle, forward and back ankle, forward and back heel, mostly due to transformation, which this heel, by the way, going from jet to robot mode is very difficult to get out of the foot. There's not really a good, easy way to get it out. You just really have to dig it out of there once it's in there. Just a forewarning for those of you who are going from bot to jet mode for the first time when you open this. That heel is going to give you trouble on both feet, just so you know. And that's pretty much it for articulation. I love just, again, the overall asymmetric shapes. I love the black wing panel over here. I really hope that that's just some burnt black metal or something that they just put in place there and not maybe Skywarp's wing, because I hope Skywarp's still out there and still okay, because he's my favorite of the original 3 Seekers. But, you know, you've also got the black shoulder and the black hip, so those also could be very easily Skywarp parts. Again, I hope they're not. I hope Skywarp's okay. I like the shape of the cockpit. I like the shape of the face sculpt on this Starscream too. That's a very also fresh new take. I mean, there are some similar placements and some similar-ish shapes to the classic Starscream head design, but of the G1-ish or G1-inspired takes on Starscream, I would say this is one of the most unique head sculpts we've gotten for him in a long while. And for comparison, here is Starscream next to Soundwave in their robot mode, so you can see them side by side. And because why not, here is Starscream next to Optimus Prime, the other Voyager of this set. So you can see them side by side. Transformation for Starscream is pretty fun. What we're going to start to do is we're going to take off these guns here. Next, we're going to fold in these wrists, and then we're just going to kind of leave these arms straight and down to the side, and that's pretty much it. The arms, there's not a whole lot of transformation with the arms. Next, we're going to come down to the feet. We're going to collapse those heels in, and this is what I was talking about right there. So see how they're in there like that? Once you get them in there, you got to like really dig under. Use that gap to your advantage. That's one of the best gaps you have. And then what we're going to do is we're going to flare out these tail fins out to the side, because they're going to just be straight out to the side like this. Come over here to his backpack. We're going to untab this section, untab this other section, and then we're going to flip these wings all the way around. You can also take them off if that helps. And this section is going to flip down and out. As you can see, we're starting to get the majority of the back of the plane. But before we do that, let's go ahead and do this cockpit section next, because we can't really secure anything in place before we do that. So untab the head and then pull this section forward. Then you're going to rotate the head all the way around on that ball joint, and then bring it down as far as you can and rest it inside that cockpit right there. And then we're going to pull out that chest section, that cockpit section, push down the cockpit section covering the head completely. Go ahead and click that into place, flip out that nose cone, and there's the nose section of the jet all done. You'll notice there's these little fin flary out bits on his back. We're going to flare out those little fins. So flare those out. Those are on the inside, in between part of his little back panel there, his shoulder blades, if you will. And then we're going to untab the shoulders and pull the arms more down to his sides like so. And then we're going to bring up, not that down, bring up these little shoulder sections for his intakes. And as we do that, go ahead and bring that back section down a little bit, because that's going to give you more clearance for those. Now, before we start securing stuff into place, we're going to have to finish up the legs. So to finish up the legs, come over here to legs, grab that knee, pull it forward. There's a little double hinge joint, and then we're just going to fold that foot all the way to the back, bring that knee all the way up as far as we can get it. And then there's like this cool little thruster section that's nice and smooth and flat on the bottom, and that is going to meet with the back of this and tab into place. So once we start to push things down and tab stuff in, we'll do that. But for now, let's go ahead and scrunch those legs up all the way like so. Get them towards the middle, because they're going to tab into the center. And then we're just going to go ahead and just start pushing stuff down and locking stuff into place. So get those tabs into place. Then you can adjust your tail fins and such and get those wings straightened out. And last thing to do is to just secure the arms. So take these arms, turn them down to the side, and tuck them underneath over these little angled pegs on the bottom of the underside of the jet. And all that's left from there is to add his little wing guns. So just peg them up under the wings. And there is Starscream in his jet mode, which looks really, really cool. A cool new take on that classic F-15 design that we all know and love. I love all the little paneling, the vents right here as well. Those asymmetrical wings look even cooler in jet mode than they do in robot mode. The under the side of the jet isn't horrible. You got a little bit of hollowness right here, but that's from where the nose cone was tucked into the torso. So, I mean, that piece kind of had to go somewhere, so it's really hard to cover that gap. A lot of the other gaps, however, are pretty well covered in both robot and jet mode, in my opinion. It's really just that one visible gap that kind of sticks out. I also like the 3 engine thrusters right here on the very back of him. I think that's a really cool design, and I just love how those bits of the legs just connect right here for this more fuller engine look. Just gives that jet design such a cooler look than it typically would have had otherwise, I think. Next up, we have Bumblebee in his robot mode. And just like the rest, I really love this Bumblebee design a lot. I do think, however, his back, his upper back, while it isn't technically big and hollow completely because you have this little panel that covers up and parts of the car that are scrunched up in his torso, it does look kind of strange. But I do like how it connects directly to the back of his neck, which is kind of neat. A lot of the robot mode design of this Bumblebee kind of reminds me a little bit of the newest Bumblebeeverse take on the live-action Bumblebee and the Fall of Cybertron take on Bumblebee. Somewhere in between there, especially in vehicle mode when you've got the off-road lights and big wheels and other bits on him that just make him look so cool. I really love the alt mode of this figure a lot. Fully articulated head is on a ball joint. Fully articulated shoulders in and out. The shoulder pads also articulate. Elbows on a ball joint. No wrist joints. He does come with these cool little, what look like little machine gun pistols. He can dual wield those. You can also mount them on his chest or shoulders, kinda. Collar, I guess. Yeah, his collar area, which you can also have them on display in alt mode. He's got some of the coolest weapon storage out of all of them, in my opinion, because I love how his little pistol's just right there on the hood of the vehicle. I think that looks really cool. No waist articulation, hips, upper thigh, single jointed knees, and ankles have full range of motion because they are on a ball joint. For comparison, here is Bumblebee next to Optimus Prime from Transformers Reactivate, so you can see them side by side. And here he is next to his fellow deluxe Soundwave, so you can see them side by side as well. I wish Soundwave was a little bit bigger though. I mean, do I think he shouldn't have been a deluxe? I mean, a slightly bigger deluxe maybe, or a small Voyager, but yeah, I feel like he's a little small. He looks a little too small next to Bumblebee, at least in my opinion. Bumblebee has a fun and interesting transformation as well. And there is one really tricky section, and that's getting the hood and stuff out of his chest cavity here. So first what we're going to do is we're going to start there. We're going to untab the head and neck section from this little back section right here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to unfold and untab this section as well and extend this out as far as we can get it. And then we're going to rotate this head and neck section into the chest cavity and try and pull out this little hood. So you want to grab this little hood right here and you want to pull it through as far as you can. But you got to extend all those other bits first, otherwise you're not going to get enough clearance to pull this section out because it's so tight in here when the parts go to move that it makes it a little difficult to achieve. But once you get that through, then you just finish rotating that all the way around. Bring this down on that double hinge joint that it's on. And just try to line up, there we go, the pieces to fit in the shape of what's supposed to look like a car to you. And then it's a little tricky with all these different extra hinges and moving parts. There we go. And then just get that hood section tabbed into place. Okay, now that that's all done and the head is out of the way, what we do next is we come down to the arms, rotate those and bring those in, rotate that and bring that in. And then before we bring this hood section in, we got to do the legs. So come over here to the legs, grab and extend these bits on the side, flip out the other wheels, and then grab the feet, rotate it all the way, push it all the way in so it's flat, push it all the way in so it's flat, grab the waist, that folds in right there, fold back those knees, crunch those all the way up, take those arms, rotate at that elbow, fold that elbow in, do the same thing over here, fold that elbow in. Now that we've got that section all done, come over here, close those doors, and then swing in those front fender pieces. Make sure that grill's still not tabbed in yet, because once you get those front fenders into position, then we tab the grill in because that will secure those front fenders into place. And there is Bumblebee in his little off-road, dune buggy, post-apocalyptic coupe type vehicle. I love the big exposed engine on the back. I like the little off-road headlights. Then you got the light bar there on the top. I like how the spoiler looks. I like how it kind of looks like he's got a couple of little stingers poking out of the back from his heel. Bars on the windshield. Windows nicely painted on the back. No need to paint the rear windshield when there isn't supposed to be one, so no complaint about lack of no windshield paint on this figure. And of course, you can take his little pistols here and plug them into the hood, which looks really cool. And for comparison, here he is next to Starscream, the figure he comes packed with, so you can see them side by side. And next up here we have Optimus Prime, so you can see him and Bumblebee side by side, and these two especially look awesome side by side in their alt modes. I love this Bumblebee. This is my favorite, at least my favorite Earth mode Bumblebee for sure. But this is definitely my favorite Bumblebee figure. I love this take on him. This is just, I think, the perfect blend between the muscle car take on Bumblebee and the little you know, Volkswagen Bug small car take on Bumblebee. And here he is next to Soundwave. And once again, yeah, Soundwave should have been bigger. I don't think he needs to be as big as Optimus or Starscream, but he's an SUV. This is a little, you know, coupe. He should be bigger. Should be a good amount bigger than this guy. Not significantly super huge next to this guy, but should be bigger next to this guy is all I'm saying. And here is Soundwave in his alt mode next to Starscream in his alt mode, so you can see them side by side, and they also look really cool side by side together. And here is Soundwave next to Optimus, because why not show this side by side again since we're already doing all the other comparisons. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in to today's video featuring the new Transformers Reactivate Bumblebee and Starscream 2-pack. Which of the two 2-packs was your favorite, and which character out of these 2-packs was your favorite? I gotta go with Bumblebee on this one. Out of all four of them, Bumblebee is definitely my standout favorite, just because out of all of their designs, his was, I think, kind of the newest, most unique take on him. I mean, yes, he's still a small, you know, gold and black vehicle, but this is, I think, the most different alt mode for Bumblebee that we've seen so far, because usually he's either a muscle car or a small car, like, once again, a Volkswagen smart car, Mini Cooper type vehicle, whereas this time he's more of like a dune buggy off-road type vehicle, which is kind of a new take on him, and silhouette-wise, a very unique take on him, which I really, really like a lot. I loved the Optimus, but, I mean, we've seen the big red and blue truck before, and all they really did was beef up the G1 design a little bit. So, while I love this take on Optimus, I love this figure, I love this design, I couldn't necessarily make it my favorite just because, I mean, he's so similar to what we've already seen. And same goes for Starscream. I love this Starscream, but I mean, this one just stood out to me the most. And we've seen Soundwave as a comms vehicle before. So this design and Optimus's design, I would say, are the least new out of the four. And of course, yeah, Starscream's not far behind these two. So for that reason, Bumblebee's the one who stuck out to me the most. But I would like to know who your favorite out of the four was. Please let me know in the comments down below. Which Transformer character are you looking forward to see in Transformers Reactivate? I really hope Megatron looks especially awesome. I mean, I'm sure he's, you know, probably going to be a tank, because lately Hasbro has loved making him a tank, and not that I'm complaining, tanks are cool, but I'm also hoping for a new, fresh take on Megatron as well, so we're just going to have to wait and see, but I'm very much looking forward to seeing how Megatron's going to turn out in this universe. Stay tuned for more. Stay tuned for that Reactivate news. Make sure you check out Splash Damage and let them know, hey, we want that Transformers Reactivate game to come out, because us Transformer fans sorely need it. Stay tuned for more Transformers reviews. Like and subscribe and follow us on social media. Check out our sister website and channel, CoolToyReview.com. Like and subscribe to Cool Toy Review here on YouTube, and check the main website daily for all kinds of awesome toy news, videos, and more. Speaking of websites, check out our other sister website, RebelScum.com, the world's oldest and largest Star Wars fan website not owned by Disney, and in their nearly 30-year-long history, RebelScum.com is hosting the very first official Rebel ScumCon this summer, June 27th through the 30th, in the heart of North Texas in Allen, the Allen Convention Center. To book your experience today, make sure you go to RebelScumConventions.com. Once again, that's RebelScumConventions.com. If you're looking for some awesome toys and merch, come by our physical location inside Order 66 Multiverse in the shops at Willowbend Mall in Plano, Texas, which also houses Order 66 Toys, the world's official all-collectible Star Wars toy store. And in case you're not local, Order 66 goes live every Friday night at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time on the Order 66 Toys Facebook page, and they ship all around the world. Last but not least, check out our free archival website, collectorsoracle.com. It has mostly Star Wars collectible toy lines on it for now, but it's a free archive that you can also mark figures in your collection in, mark their completeness, their condition, and you can also mark things you would like to have your collection and share those lists with friends, family, and social media alike. And the best part about Collector's Oracle, it's all absolutely free to use. We'll see you guys later. We'll see you another time. Hopefully we'll have some more Transformers Reactivate content for you soon. Transform and roll out.
That's it, man. Game over,